Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Season 11, Episode 30, overall 580 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, located at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out their website, barrycullen.com, for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, along with their great selection of all-electric vehicles as well. You can call the dealership at 519-824-0210 and tell them Chris Palme sent you, or you can email the dealership at info@barrycullen.com. Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership is a proud sponsor of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show for the last 3 years, and Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership is a family-run and operated here in the city of Guelph since 1969. So if you're looking for a new or a pre-owned vehicle, check out Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership here in Guelph. They have some great vehicles, brand new or pre-owned, and great customer service at Barry Cullen Chevrolet as well. I want to say hello to George Brown, who is watching me from just outside of St. Louis. He is a huge sports fan and a fan of the Toronto Argonauts and the Canadian Football League from Missouri. So, George, thank you for watching me, and I hope everyone is doing well on this Wednesday, August 28th, 2025, and I'm excited. Hopefully my guests will be able to make it. Jeff Riger, the co-host of the WOJO and Riger show from weekdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on 97.1 The Ticket in Detroit. I'm just waiting for him to pop on. Jeff's been with 91.7 The Ticket in Detroit since 2002, so 23 years. And Jeff also does some pre- and post-game hosting on the Red Wings radio network on 97.1 The Ticket as well. As we wait for Jeff Riger, we're going to talk a little bit about the Detroit Tigers. They've lost 3 in a row now, and 2 in a row to the A's. They lost last night 7-6 in 10 innings on a walk-off walk. And then the night before, they lost 8-3, where the A's hit a grand slam off Tarek Skudrow as well. Skudrow's human, so I'm not worried about Tarek Skudrow going forward. The Tigers right now still have a nice, I think, a 9.5 game lead over Kansas City in the American League Central, and the Tigers still have the best record in the American League by a half a game over the Toronto Blue Jays as well. So the Tigers are back in action tonight at 10:05. in Sacramento against the formerly known team as the Oakland A's. 10:05 tonight, and Casey Mize is on the mound as well. And as we wait for Jeff Riger, we're going to play an interview of one of the Toronto Argonaut wide receivers. I was at the game Saturday. The Argos won 52-34 over the BC Lions. And we're going to talk to Jake Herslow, one of their wide receivers who had 2 touchdowns in the big Argos win, as we wait for Jeff Riger to come on. And here's my interview, courtesy of my YouTube channel, Chris Palme, Live with CDP Talk Show. And I want to say thank you to everyone for subscribing to my YouTube channel and for my 500,000 views, 500,000 views. So thank you so much for subscribing and watching. And here's my interview in the Argonauts post-game locker room with Jake Herslow, who had 2 touchdowns against BC on Saturday.
Great game.
Chris Palme here live at BMO Field in the Toronto Argonauts locker room after their 52-34 win tonight over the BC Lions. And I have Toronto Argonauts wide receiver Jake Herslow on. And Jake, I wanted your thoughts on this win tonight, 52-34 over a good BC team.
Yeah, it was a big win for the boys. It's been a long time coming. Our record doesn't reflect the type of group that we have in this locker room. We're going to be extremely confident going into any game for the rest of the season.
What did the guys and the coaching staff say to you when you got off to a slow start today at 14-3?
Not really thinking too much into that. We're just continuing to execute one play at a time. That's always the mindset. Just focus on the next play, and we just continue to execute. And we got the win down the stretch.
What are your thoughts on the play of Nick Arbuckle this year?
Oh, I mean, Nick's, he prepares better than anyone I've seen around the league, and he continues to grow. And like I said, our record doesn't reflect the type of group that we have in here and the type of quarterback that he is. But, we're just going to keep going and focus on one play at a time, and we'll surprise some people down the stretch.
Jake, from your rookie year to your second year, how much have you evolved and improved as a wide receiver and even as a teammate?
Yeah, I mean, being a former walk-on and everything, I'm used to kind of waiting to get my turn. So I just continued to work every day. No one's watching, just doing everything I can do, controlling my attitude, my effort, and just continuing to show up one day at a time. And that's kind of that's kind of helped me improve and get opportunities.
What's 2 words to describe yourself as a football player?
A dog.
By the way, your hurdle in the last game, have you ever done that before in a game?
I've actually done that when I was like 8 years old. I've kind of done that multiple times throughout my life playing football. I've been playing since I was like 5, 6 years old. I have a clip. I think I can find a clip of me when I was like 7 or 8 jumping over a kid. But, I've done it my whole life. Honestly, it's just a reaction thing too. I don't know.
In terms of this game, how important was it to get the win? You guys were down 14-3, but you outscored them 49-20 the last 3 quarters. This was probably your most complete game of the year, wouldn't you say?
Oh, definitely, 100%. We finished, and that's kind of been our issue. We played well, like throughout the course of the games of the year. I'm really proud of how this group finished this game. Finished like that last drive that we had, running down their throats, chewing the clock. That was big time for us. We're gonna draw confidence on that moving forward.
What do you have to say to the Argos fans after this win tonight?
Keep believing in us. Like I said, the record doesn't reflect the type of group that we have in here. We still are the defending champs, and we're gonna shock some people down the stretch.
What's a fun fact about Jake the fans might not know about you?
Fun fact about Jake. I played on Team USA hockey when I was 11 or 12 years old. So, I grew up playing hockey and lacrosse and football, and I'm just an athlete. I'd say the hockey thing, Team USA hockey back in the day. It's a cool fact.
Who got you into football, and who were some of your early influences?
Oh, easy answer right there. My mom. She gave me a handoff when I was 5 years old. She said, hold on to it for dear life. And I just remember I've always loved the game my entire life. Like I said, I've been playing since I was 5, and, she's from Buffalo, New York, so she's all about them Bills, and she's just my biggest fan, and she's always pushed me and pushed me to be my best that I could be, and I'm really thankful for her.
And Buffalo's special to me too, covering the Bandits and the Buffalo Bisons as well. It's a great sports town as well. And before we wrap this up, did you get a chance to check out the CNE?
Oh yeah. Deshaun Brissett beat me in the little water gun squaring game yesterday, so I'm a little upset about that. But CNE's fun, so it's a good time.
And finally, where can Argo fans follow you on social media, Jake?
Oh, yeah, get me on Instagram, Jacob Herslow, JAKOBHERSLOW.
Jake, I want to say congratulations on the big win, and enjoy your bye week, and we'll see you September 1st when you take on Hamilton as well.
Oh, yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was Jake Herslow, wide receiver from the Toronto Argonauts, after the Argos win against BC on Saturday with 2 touchdowns, 52-34. And my guest has just popped on, and we're going to bring him on right now. He is the co-host of the WOJO and Riger show on 97.1 The Ticket in Detroit, and he's also the pre- and post-game host on the Detroit Red Wings radio networks as well. His name is Jeff Riger, and we're going to bring on Jeff right now. Good afternoon, Jeff. How are you?
What's going on?
Good.
How are you?
It's a pleasure. I am keeping myself really busy, and I'm doing well, and it's a pleasure to have you on my show.
Good to be here. Weather's gorgeous. Are you in Canada?
I'm in Ontario. I'm in a city called Guelph, which is about an hour from Toronto and about 3.5, 4 hours from Detroit.
Very cool. Good to be here.
Thank you. And the reason I became a Detroit sports fan was back in the 70s when I would visit my cousins, Mike and Terry, in Taylor, Michigan. So they converted me over to being a Detroit fan, except for the Lions. I've never been a Lions fan.
Well, who do you cheer for then? There's no other team. There's not a team in Canada.
I cover the CFL, so I cover the Toronto Argonauts, the CFL, but I'm also a Philadelphia Eagles fan as well.
Okay. Well, congratulations on your Super Bowl then.
It's not, hey, Jeff, I never thought I'd see them live to win one or two. So I appreciate it. And you know, Jeff, as well, how hard it is to win a championship nowadays in any sport.
Oh, yeah, no question. I mean, listen, Lions fans are still hoping and dreaming that maybe one day before we all die, we'll be in the Super Bowl, or at least get that 2 week build up for the Super Bowl would be nice just to see your team in it. It hasn't happened quite yet, but maybe one day. I mean, 2 years ago, they were 30 minutes away, and then we all know what happened in the second half.
I'm really hoping this year. I know the Eagles and Lions meet at the link, but I would love to see that as the NFC Championship game. That's what I really thought was going to happen last year until Washington kind of ruined the plans there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think the injuries kind of ruined the plans too. I mean, I look
Two,
back on that
yes.
game and everybody wants to crucify Jared Goff. And listen, he played awful. Ben Johnson, awful day as well. But that defense was so decimated. People forget Amik Robertson broke his arm like the third play of the game. And when that happens, and you're bringing in practice squad guys and guys off the street to play in a playoff game, I think I look back, we were all bozos for predicting a double-digit win. We were all stupid for thinking it was going to be so easy. And Jaden Daniels gave it to him.
Before we get into the Tigers, Jeff, what is the mood right now with the media and the Lions fan base on this team going into the 2025 season?
Yeah, it's weird because I think people are split. There's part of the fan base that is all about the negativity. It's almost like politics. It's almost like the Republican and Democratic talking points. And if you're a negative guy, if you believe in the negatives, you're going to believe that the schedule is impossible. You're going to believe that the injuries, I'm sorry, Frank Ragnow's retirement is going to affect them. You're going to believe the interior offensive line is a problem. You're going to believe that new coordinators, 7 new coaches, it's all going to play a factor to the Lions struggling, and they're the most bet on team to miss the playoffs this season. So I think a lot of fans believe that. Yeah, believe it or not.
Wow.
And it's only plus 165. So it's not like you're making a ton of money. It's not like plus 400 or 350. I think the positives is, and other fans believe, dude, this is a good team. It's a really good team with elite talent. The defense is healthy and should be a problem for opposing teams. So even though the offense might take a second or two to kind of get her going, I think defensively they're going to be much better. I also think people forget that they were good last year, and more than likely the reason they didn't advance in the postseason was because of the injuries. So I think the fans are torn. I really do. And I think we all just need the first game, which is less than 2 weeks ago in Green Bay. And then once they finally play the Packers, and whether they win, feel better, or they lose, or you have a reason for your freak out, I think maybe we'll now know where to go. But this next week is kind of brutal simply because I feel we're all just waiting for the first game, and everybody is simply stuck in their ways and not really ready to see the other side's viewpoints.
Jeff, how much will this Lions team miss Frank Ragnow as a center?
I think a ton. I mean, you don't replace an all-pro veteran with a rookie or with Graham Glasgow, who is a vet in himself, but not to the caliber of a guy like Frank Ragnow. I think you look at this offensive line and you say to yourself, all right, Tate Ratledge is going to play a factor. He's a rookie. Graham Glasgow is going to play a factor. Wasn't all that effective last year. Taylor Decker, still your left tackle, is older and heck of a lot of pressures last year. And then Penei Sewell's a total beast and a stud and like one of the best in the game. So I think if you protect Jared Goff, you're going to be fine. And you're going to be right up there, top 5 offense in football. But if you can't protect Jared Goff, and Goff, like most quarterbacks, struggles under pressure, but if you can't protect them, especially up the middle, the interior of the O-line, it's going to be a long season. And Goff, like any quarterback, with people in his face, isn't going to be as good, right? I mean, he's not like unique in that regard. Most quarterbacks, you blitz, you get home, quarterback's dead. However, if you look at Goff's QBR without pressure, it's somewhere like 82. When you add pressure, it goes down to 17. So the biggest, I think, thing for this Lions team is they got to figure out that offensive line and they got to protect Goff. Now, everything else should be fine. I mean, you got 2 stud running backs. You got great receivers. You got a stud tight end. Defensively, you have Hutchback. Your linebackers are good. You have the best secondary in football, I think, at least safety-wise, with Joseph and Branch. So overall, I think they're going to be a good team. I think they're going to win 11, 12 games. I think they're going to be in the hunt for the NFC North. I think they're going to be just fine. But there's a lot of people that believe that this is the end of all the fun and it's back to same old Lions and all the negativity that we've pretty much dealt with our whole life.
I kind of disagree on that too, because you got Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, you've got Sheila Hamp Ford, you have management ownership in place, and Dan Campbell is still a really good head coach as well. Got to ask you this: is the Lions going to pick up Dan Skipper and put him on the practice roster, or is he done with the team?
So, by my understanding, there's a difference between getting cut and getting released. He got released, which is if you're in the league over 4 years, then you get to choose your destination. So he's the equivalent of a free agent now. If he chooses to come back to Detroit, I guess he could be on the practice squad. I would not assume that's going to happen. I would assume 30-year-old dude looking for a paycheck, he's probably going to be elsewhere. But I mean, the cut in itself was kind of interesting. He's a culture guy. Everybody remembers what happened 2 years ago in Dallas with the failure to report. Everybody loves him. So I think people were surprised by a guy like Dan Skipper getting released, but I would not expect him to be a Lion this season now.
In the NFC, obviously, I still think the Eagles are the team to beat, but Philly, Washington, and Detroit as the three best. Do you feel those are the three best teams there, or is there another team in the NFC you could see being up there too?
Yeah, I mean, I think Philly's going to be unreal again. Their defensive line is packed with a bunch of dudes that can kill quarterbacks. I think Jalen Hurts proved to everybody that he deserves his money and he's an elite quarterback. I think their offense is sensational, and year two with Saquon Barkley. So I expect the Eagles to be a problem. It's hard to go back to back, but
Yes.
without a doubt, I would expect the Eagles there. I don't know about Washington, where they a one-hit wonder. We wait and we find out. Tape is out on the Commanders. I don't know that they're taking anybody by surprise. Jaden Daniels is awesome, though. So I think they're going to be good. I think you probably have to look in the NFC North and say to yourself, what about the Packers? There's all these rumors that are going to go out and trade for Micah Parsons. I'm not quite sure I believe that. With that being said, if you have to pick a team to win the NFC North that isn't the Lions, you probably go Packers. So I think they could play a factor. I think the Niners are going to be really good. I mean, they took the step back last year due to injuries. They got the high draft pick. Now they're whole again. I would expect them to be good. And people sleep on the Rams. If Matthew Stafford is healthy, that Rams team offensively with Puka Nacua and Matthew Stafford and a good stable of running backs, I think could pose a problem. Really good young defense, too, with a bunch of dudes that can get to a quarterback as well. So I would say those teams are probably the teams in it. And then if you have to throw in a sleeper team, maybe, and I say this every year and they let me down every year, maybe the Falcons. Potentially the Falcons. I know people are laughing right now, but Michael Penix at quarterback. I like their head coach, and I like the talent they have on their team. But yeah, I would say when you're looking at the NFC powerhouses or favorites, I think you got to say Lions. I think you say Eagles, Niners, Rams, and who else am I missing? Did we get anybody from the NFC South? Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it.
Jeff, you've been on the Ticket 97.1 in Detroit for 23 years, and you know Detroit's a great sports city. They love their teams. Out of all the teams in Detroit, are the Lions the number one team there, in your opinion?
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, listen, we love the Tigers, the Red Wings, the Pistons, Michigan and Michigan State. But this town has never been more excited or electric than when the Lions recently were just in the NFC title game. Our entire lives, we've been jealous of everybody else. You grow up, you're a Lions fan, they kick you in the balls year after year after year. They don't make the Super Bowl. They lose in inexplicable ways. And all that does is make you love them even more. So this town will always be an NFL football town first. Michigan and Michigan State take a back seat to the Lions. You can make the case that their popularity and their super popular is only because the Lions have pretty much sucked our entire lifetimes. So yes, the fact that the Lions are good right now, fans don't care about anything else. Now, yes, the Tigers are about to enter the playoffs. The Pistons going to the postseason was awesome. People are annoyed as hell at Steve Yzerman and not making moves for the Red Wings, but it's Lions more than anything else. And I think the gap is pretty big, to tell you the truth. If the Lions ever went to the Super Bowl, and they could this year, I mean, they got some hurdles to cross, but they could. I don't think Detroit sports fans would relish anything more. And we've seen championships. We've seen the Wings dynasties. We saw the Pistons go into work. We saw, well, Tigers were 41 years ago. People might not have been alive watching this, but there would be nothing more special, I think, than the Lions. Absolutely. And now you got all these new Lions fans too. You got all these people that maybe weren't crazy super fans when the Lions were struggled, but now that they're good, they got all their Lions gear. They throw their Lions party. They invade Ford Field. So absolutely. I mean, there's a gap. I've always believed that it's Lions and then everybody else. And we're an awesome sports town. I would say the best sports town around, considering our college teams as well. But nothing beats Lions football and watching on a Sunday or Monday night or Thursday night or Saturday these days.
Jeff, a couple years ago, I had the pleasure of covering the NFL draft in Detroit as media for my company, CDP Media Productions. And yeah, it was an amazing experience being at the NFL draft. And I saw how much the city loves the NFL and the Detroit Lions. And it was an awesome experience. And I got to meet Jaden. And it was just awesome.
Yeah, you broke up a little bit.
We're back. Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, you broke up a little bit. I didn't catch all of that, but yes, the NFL draft was amazing. And it's funny, 700,000 fans. I think it could have been more, to tell you the truth. And I do believe that Detroit kind of set the new bar of what an NFL draft should look like. And I love that the NFL went away from like Radio City Music Hall and go city by city. And I got to believe it will be back in Detroit because people flooded to it. It was a massive hit. And just the overall pictures that you see, the overhead pictures of all the people that were there. And it was a blast. It was totally cool. And I think Detroit like pretty much proved to everybody, like, you know, all the rumors and stereotypes about our city, probably not true.
Jeff, I was downtown Detroit the entire time. I walked around taking pictures and videos, and I felt safe the entire time I was down there. And it was like the city's reinvented itself.
There's no question. I mean, whether it's a Tiger game, a Red Wing game, Pistons, Lions, it's a blast being in Detroit. And it's come a long way. I mean, I remember when Comerica Park was built, there was nothing around it. It was a ballpark, and that's it. I remember going to Tiger Stadium back in the day. I love Tiger Stadium, but it wasn't, I don't think, this area that you want to hang out in after the game. There was a couple of bars. I remember there was a memorabilia store, but other than that, you pretty much went in, you went out. Now, Detroit's awesome. I mean, you can make a day of it, stuff for kids, ton of bars, ton of restaurants. And it's come a long way, and I don't think we get the love we should nationally. But then, yeah, the whole Detroit versus everybody, I mean, there's something to that as well. I think Detroiters are totally fine with being this hidden gem and people not realizing how great Detroit is. But, I mean, if you haven't been, come on by. You'll be impressed. It's a great city, a great area, a great place to raise a family. I mean, I'm almost 50. Been here my whole life with the exception of 4 months here or 5 months there. I wouldn't rather live anyplace else.
And I want to say congratulations on 23 years with 97.1 The Ticket. And I always, when I'm in your area, I always like to listen to 97.1 The Ticket. And like I said, my cousins in Taylor, Michigan, turned me into a Red Wing, Pistons, Tigers fan, Michigan Wolverines fan as well. Hey, Jeff, before we get to the Tigers, and I will wrap this up in about 10 minutes. What are your thoughts quickly on the Michigan penalty by the NCAA?
It's weird because I think the NCAA should have popped him. They had enough evidence. Well, the evidence that Connor Stallions didn't put at the bottom of a pond, or the hard drives that he inexplicably lost. But if you read the report, they had every right to give him a couple-year postseason ban. They decided not to. They used the whole, well, you know, it wouldn't be fair to the kids and the people at the school now. I think at the end of the day, the NCAA was scared of Michigan. I think they would have given other schools, not as high and powerful as Michigan, probably a postseason ban. But they decided to play it soft. They got the fines. Michigan's appealing. I think it was soft all around, but I think we kind of expected that, to tell you the truth. It's funny because Michigan fans, if you don't think you cheated, and a lot of people love to fight the fight, well, prove that it helped. Well, why'd you do it then? Well, once Connor Stallions was gone and everybody knew we beat Penn State and Ohio State and Alabama and Washington and won a national championship. Sweet. You could have been good enough to win the whole damn thing to begin with, but you decided to cheat, which pretty much X's everything out to begin with as well. So I think Michigan fans are dealing with this hard. They're celebrating because they didn't get a postseason ban. If you knew you didn't cheat to begin with, then why would you celebrate to begin with? I think people now take liberties and call Michigan cheaters, wonder about their integrity, knock them off their high horse. And I think that hurts Michigan fans. I really do. I think Michigan fans want to have their cake and eat it too. They want their natty to be legitimate, but they also want you to think that they're better than you. And I think what this scandal has done is proven, sure, they won a national championship, but they're the same as everybody else. They don't have more integrity or more honor than anybody else, like they love to try to rub in your face. So I think this ruling proved just that. I actually think when you sit and think about it, from Michigan State and Buckeye fans, those are the two fan bases that wanted Michigan to get popped so bad for understandable reason. I think they're happy as hell that they can make fun of Michigan, and there's nothing Wolverine fans can say. I think Michigan fans are happy that their national championship sticks. What I would have done is I would have vacated wins, because there's nothing that Michigan fans care about more than their program, the whole title of the winningest program in college football. And if you wiped out 3 years of the Harbaugh era with Connor Stallions, they'd be even maybe one behind Ohio State as far as total wins. If you took away those wins, I think that would have affected Michigan fans greatly, and I think that would have been an acceptable punishment. Now, they're going to tell you they didn't do that because there's no ineligible players, which I think the NCAA is just making up rules, because if you go back to, who was it? Was it Missouri? Where was it? Missouri about 10 years ago, when the tutor was blackmailing the athletic department, and the NCAA wiped out numerous sports, postseason bans, they vacated wins. So the NCAA can do whatever the hell they wanted to do. They decided to go soft. At the end of the day, they knew Michigan would probably fight back. So maybe that's why they decided not to go postseason ban or vacation of wins. But I'm glad it's over. I'm glad we get to see football this coming weekend. And I do think, I did this topic the other day, like who won the hearing? The Committee on Infractions, the COI. Was it Michigan State and Buckeye fans, or was it Michigan fans? Because Michigan fans now have to deal with the harsh reality that the whole nation knows they cheated. And they love to say, oh, just stop talking about it. Well, you don't have to. You guys did the dirt. Now you got to put up with it, and you get to keep your national championship. Well, Michigan's rivals are simply like, sweet, like, it sucks. We wish you weren't in the postseason. We want you to have pain, but at least we can call you cheaters. So at the end of the day, I think it worked out for both parties. I'm glad it's over, but it was a solid week of radio for sure. People are still fired up about it.
Jeff, what's your overall assessment on this 2025 Detroit Tigers team? And do you feel the team did enough at the Major League Baseball trade deadline, in your opinion?
Oh, look at you. Look at you, already know what I think about the trade deadline. The Tigers are a weird, perplexing team. They're very good, and then they're very bad at times as well. And listen, it's baseball, right? If you ride the 162 roller coaster, you're going to feel different ways about your team at different points. It's interesting because if you're on social media or do what I do for a living, you give opinions out in the moment. And then people love to keep receipts about you being right or wrong, usually when you're wrong. But you give opinions. I like to give opinions out in the moment. When I see something, I react to what's going on. I don't like to play the let it play out card, because I think that's silly. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen 5 years from now or 5 months from now or 5 minutes from now. So I just react to what I see. And if you react over the last couple games against the A's or Athletics or Sacramento, whatever you want to call them, you probably see a team that is ugly fundamentally. You worry about their pitching. Their offense probably isn't quite there. And your biggest worry is probably, well, who's your number 2 starter after Tarek Skubal? And Skubal couldn't even get a win the other day, and he gave up 6 runs despite the fact only 1 was earned. So I think you go through those emotions. The bullpen, not good enough. But then you go back before the Athletic series, and they went 5-1 in a homestand. And they won, I want to say, 18 of 25 games after they're losing 12-13. And they look great, and they pitched great, and they poked the ball out of the ballpark. But it was also against inferior teams. So I think my guess is as good as anybody else's guess. When the playoffs roll, and that's what all we care about, right? They're going to win their division. They're 9.5 up the Royals. They're not going to cough away the division. But once you get to the postseason, and hopefully you secure that first or second round seed, meaning you get the first bye straight to the ALDS instead of having to play in a wild card series, I think the biggest worry about this team is who's going to throw the ball for you. Tarek Skubal can't pitch every game, and you don't have the pitching chaos like you did last year. Like last year when Gunther and Hannafy and Brisky and Foley all were around and AJ was able to throw a different guy for a different situation, it worked. And it worked really well, and you knocked off the Astros, and you almost beat the Guardians, and you almost found your way to the ALCS. This year, the pen's not the same. You got trustworthy guys. Like, I think Troy Melton is going to be special, but you can't pitch him all the time, and he's up against an innings limit, so I don't know how you actually use that kid. I think Kyle Finnegan's been unbelievable. 10 straight outings, hasn't given up a run. But do you trust Will Vest in an inning that isn't the 9th? Do you trust Tyler Holton against lefties? Do you trust Brennan Hannafy? Like the rest of the bullpen, Rafael Montero is not vintage like it was last year. So I think the pitching scares me. It also worries me that they didn't get a proven bat at the lineup or deadline rather. And I know people want to talk about like, oh, everybody wanted Eugenio Suarez. Well, yeah. And I know he started slow with Seattle, but he had a 3-run bomb yesterday. And over the course of his last 8, 9, 10 games, he's got 1,000 OPS. So I do worry that when the postseason comes and you're going against elite relievers, that you don't have that dude in the middle of your lineup that's going to be able to come through. Is it going to be Carpenter? Is it going to be Riley Green? Is it going to be Gleyber Torres? Is it going to be Javi Baez? I don't know that I trust these guys to that point. So you asked, was I happy with the deadline? No, I thought they should have done more. Kyle Finnegan was a brilliant pickup. I didn't like the approach of let's see what underperforming, injured, broken reliever we can fix. Charlie Morton's got a 5 ERA for a reason. And while he's given you a couple nice outings, what happened yesterday when he got rocked could happen any game of the postseason. Chris Paddock, that's a dude with a 5 career ERA damn near. And he's a guy you can't trust either. Jack Flaherty and Casey Mize are so inconsistent. So I know it's crazy because they're the best team in the American League, but this is what we do with our teams, right? We uber analyze them. So if I had to choose, and I'm going to do this as a topic today at 6 o'clock, I don't know what people choose to believe. Do you choose to believe first place team, best in the American League, more than likely going to get a 1 or 2 seed and have as good of a chance as anybody else in the American League? It's wide open to go to the World Series. Or do you believe that the pitching is going to be your downfall or the lack of a proven at bat is going to be your downfall? I mean, what do you think? I change my mind almost hourly about this team. I'm not afraid to admit it.
To be honest with you, they got off to a good start and then they had their bad spell and they've kind of recovered. I think they're a good team. I don't really know if they're good enough. To be honest, Toronto had been playing well as well, but they have some issues as well. So the Tigers have as good a chance as anybody in the American League of getting out of there. And obviously the Yankees not sold on. And I do believe the Tigers are better than Houston. So it's going to come down to maybe the Blue Jays and Tigers in the playoffs at some point.
Yeah, I mean, teams in the American League, the Blue Jays, obviously, solid team that caught fire, and, they've kept it up to the most part. I agree with you about Houston. I just simply think their lineup is not enough. I'm not worried about any team in the American League Central, the Royals or the Guardians. I think you go over to the AL West. I don't know that I trust Seattle. Seattle every year, I think like, okay, they're making a run. Okay, they're hot. Yeah, they got good pitching. I don't hate their lineup either. I just don't know if it's in their DNA to succeed in the postseason. But I do think that they're going to win that division over the Houston Astros. And then the one team nobody's talking about is the Boston Red Sox. They have a very impressive lineup. They have good enough pitching. Garrett Crochet might win the Cy Young over Tarek Skubal. The race is that close. I think Skubal is minus 125, Crochet's plus 110 if you're into the Vegas gambling thing. So I would worry about Boston. It would be ironic if they had to go against Alex Bregman, a guy that was almost a Detroit Tiger. But no, I don't think they did enough at the deadline. It would have been nice to add one more reliever, add a bat. I don't think it was going to cost you an arm and a leg as far as prospects were concerned, but they decided to do it their way, and we'll see if they're right. And if they are, they're utter geniuses. But if they're not, then they have to deal with the backlash of not doing enough when you had the best record in baseball and an open window, and Tarek Skubal was still on your team, and you decided to play it safe or play it cheap. And if you didn't do enough, it's a tough pill to swallow when you know you could have had a parade down Woodward, and instead you decided to do it your way, which might not be the right way. Or maybe it works out. And if it works out, I'll say this: Scott Harris is a genius, because to take a bunch of guys and then your organization fixes them, and then you win a World Series, that's a really impressive thing.
How good has Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson been with this 2025 Tigers team? And how much did Spencer Torkelson going down to Toledo kind of helped him find himself this year?
Yeah, so I think both those guys have been epic for this team. I think Riley Green went through his slump where he struck out way too much and forgot to walk enough. And now he seems to be back. He hit the Grand Slam yesterday. He's got over 30 jacks. The thing about Riley Green, I wonder about two things with him: his long-term durability. Like, he doesn't get injured, but the way he plays outfield and he makes all those miraculous catches and he throws his body around, I wonder if eventually he might get injured. I don't know that he's got the best arm out there as well, but the bat is sensational. And yes, the swing is steep, but he is a dangerous dude from the left side of the plate. And he's going to be streaky, I think. But the ceiling, I don't even know that we've got there. And his ups are so much better, I think, than his downs are. And I know people got on him over the last month or so because he struck out way too much. Striking out is part of baseball. It is what it is. I think he's going to set the Tigers record for most strikeouts in a season. Cool. He's going to have over 30 jacks. He plays at an all-star level. He's been multiple all-star. And I've been really impressed with Riley Green. As far as Torque is concerned, he's the one guy I don't think gets talked about enough. I don't think anybody expected anything from Torque or Casey Mize or Javi Baez. And all three of those guys were all-stars. Like, think about that. Or, well, I guess Torque wasn't an all-star, but you could make the case that he kind of deserved to be. So I think Torque will always struggle at times with doing damage to pitches he should do damage to. But whatever they did to him, and he tweaked his stance, and your point about the minor leagues, I'm sure, helped. The fact that they dangled his job out in front of him and he reacted positively to it. I mean, they're just two great stories. Riley Green has been awesome. Spencer Torkelson has been huge for this team. They both have an OPS over 800. And if you're going to go anywhere in the second season, it's going to be because of those two guys. And I said that maybe you don't have that proven hitter to get you through when you need to. But what you do have is a pretty good 3-4-5 of Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, and Kerry Carpenter. And those guys, two from the left side, one from the right side, all three with great power, they could be a problem for the opposition. So maybe as negative as I was being earlier about the Tigers because they just lost 3 straight and 2 in a row against the Athletics and didn't look good doing it, I think you got to remember that this team can also do some damage. And if they can pitch well, they're going to be just fine. But yes, those two guys have been fabulous this year, and you wouldn't be where you are currently without them.
Jeff, who could be an X factor for this Tigers team in the stretch run in September and going into the postseason?
An X factor. So I think Troy Melton is going to be huge. I think this is a guy that can give you multiple innings. Dare you start him, which I think he could give you 5 innings like you saw against the White Sox like 2-3 weeks ago, where he was perfect. I want to say through 4 or 5. I think Troy Melton, young kid. I think he only has 8 outings under his belt. He's phased by nothing. You saw yesterday. I mean, Colt Keith kept making errors, and he got out of jams. So I think he could be an X factor. I think the other X factor offensively is Wenzel Perez. I love Perez. He's a switch hitter. He can play center. He can play right. He can play left. More times than not, he gives you a great at-bat. He's got power. He's got a good eye. I think Wenzel Perez is very underrated when you talk about this Tiger baseball team. And I think he's a guy that has experience from last year as well in the second season. So he's probably my X factor offensively. I also think, don't sleep on the fact that your backup catcher, Jake Rogers, also has playoff experience and not the worst guy in the world when you can't play Dingler to throw out there. And I know what people are going to say. Oh, it's the playoffs. You're going to play Dingler constantly. I don't mind Jake coming off the bench. I don't mind Jake catching once or twice if Dylan doesn't. So I think maybe those 3 guys are the X factors for the playoffs.
Jeff, I totally agree with you there as well. And the Tigers have a great catching situation right now with Jake Rogers and Dylan Dinglinger. I think either one of them I'm not worried about at all.
No. I mean, that's the crazy thing about this team. And that's why they're so perplexing. And this is why most times I feel like I'm unfair to this team, because I watch them and I quickly make reactions like they're not good enough. But they are good enough. They're the best team in the American League. They continue to be the best team in the American League. And you're right, Dylan Dingler's been awesome this season. Sitting right around 270. He's got an OPS close to 800. He calls a great game. He took over the job for Jake Rogers. Like, Dylan Dingler is the catcher of the future, and that's hard to find. So they're set, catching-wise, for sure. I just wonder, though, do they have enough pitching? And if they don't, that's going to be a shame, because this team in this year of this American League should be poised to go to the World Series. And if you get to the World Series, A, anything can happen, and B, it's a hell of a season. So we'll see. But yes, catching-wise, I think they're pretty good.
With the Blue Jays, Shane Bieber pitched his first game against Miami, and he looked good. And having him there with Max, I think Toronto might have a little bit of an edge there pitching wise. But I think another X factor for the Tigers is there's a good and a bad Jack Flaherty. If Jack Flaherty can be good, then I think he can be an X factor for this team, because I think the Tigers, for them to have a playoff run, they're going to need Flaherty to step up his game and pitch
I
better.
agree. But it seems that's the problem. It seems like all their starters are Jekyll and Hyde. Casey Mize, he's going today. He seems very Jekyll and Hyde. Chris Paddock, I don't know why he's a starter on this team, and I don't think he'll make the playoff roster. Charlie Morton, I don't think you can count on Charlie. The curveball looks fabulous, but if you lay off the low curveball, I think you're going to do damage on Charlie Morton. So you're right about Flaherty. Gave up 8 the other day on Sunday against the Kansas City Royals. And it's like you get 2 dominant starts. You start to salivate a little bit. You're like, this is our guy. And then he turns into what he was the other day, where you're like, oh. And I also will never forget Jack Flaherty for the Dodgers last season in the playoff run and them winning a World Series. He wasn't very good. So I think the question is, who is the Tigers Game 2 starter of the playoffs? Like, they're going to the second season. They deserve a ton of credit for that. They're winning the AL Central for the first time since 2014. But once you get to the playoffs, which is all we really care about right now, is who are you going to pitch in Game 2? Who do you trust enough? And I get that AJ will have a quick hook for any pitcher he throws out there, not named Tarek Skubal, but I think that could be an issue. And to your point, if a Jack Flaherty steps up or a Casey Mize steps up,
Yep.
They don't have Reese Olson, he's out for the season, then you're in great shape. But in the postseason, you can't afford games like we've seen the last couple days. And you also worry about defense, too. Like, I think the fact that they don't have a defensive third baseman and they're trying to figure out a spot for Colt Keith, I think that's a borderline problem as well.
Jeff, as we wrap up this show, can you tell my audience a little bit about your show weekdays from 6 to 8 on 97.1 The Ticket with WOJO? And are you going to be back doing the intermission and post-game hosting for the Red Wings radio broadcast this year?
So I work with Bob Winowski, WOJO Damas from the Detroit News. Wonderful human being, even though I do nothing but rip on him and he does nothing but rip on me. So if you're looking for a show where the co-hosts don't care if they're right or wrong, just want to have fun and rip on each other as much as possible, give us a listen, 6 to 8. Then on days like, for instance, today, Tigers play late. WOJO always leaves at 8 o'clock. He's old. He's got to get home to drink, apparently. So then I'm stuck by myself after 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock or until a game starts. So, yeah, you can listen to us on the Odyssey app if you happen to be in Canada. I believe the Odyssey app works in Canada, if I'm not mistaken. And, yeah, I've worked with WOJO, I want to say 4 years now. And great guy. We have as much fun as we possibly can. As far as the Red Wings, as far as I know, yeah, I mean, pregame, intermissions, postgame, we'll be back to ripping on Steve Yzerman and the fact that he probably didn't do enough before you know it. I mean, they're going to Traverse City, I want to say in 2 weeks, maybe even less than 2 weeks. I saw our September programming schedule, and there's Red Wing games on it. So that's just around the corner. It's the best time of year, isn't it? I mean, we got football starting, meaningful games and playoffs. The air is getting crisp. My daughter's going back to school so I can play some fall golf. It's a great time of year. Great time of year. But, yeah, give us a listen if you're looking for a little Detroit sports radio. And if you hate us, it's WOJO's fault. It's not my fault.
Jeff, what's one fun fact about Jeff Riger that your fans audience might not know about you?
Okay, you got to say it again because you broke up a little bit. What was the question?
Okay, what's one fun fact about Jeff Riger that the audience might not know about you?
Fun fact. Let's see. What is a fun fact about me? I got a couple. Do you remember the show Dawson's Creek years ago? Yes. Well, I entered this contest when I was in school to win $100,000 and be an extra on Dawson's Creek. I was in love with Katie Holmes, who eventually married Tom Cruise, and I fell out of love with her. But she's from the Toledo area, which is right down the road from us. So I entered this contest, and the producer loved my voice. The one person that loved this voice. You don't find it often. Most people are annoyed by my voice. They think I sound like Kermit the Frog. Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here. And I entered this contest, and I got to the second round, and I made it all the way to the Detroit finals of this contest. And I had a chance to win it, to go to Hollywood, be an extra. Who knows what could have happened? I could have been this Hollywood actor with this awful voice. And the last test, if you will, I had to read lines with this woman who was my age at the time. We went to a theater in Birmingham, and it was like a big deal because if I knocked it out of the park, it was me and some other guy that were going for the rights of winning Michigan, right? And you couldn't mess up your lines. You had to memorize your lines, and I flubbed one of my lines. I got kicked out of the contest, and my dreams were dashed of meeting Katie Holmes and being on the great show Dawson's Creek. So maybe that's a fun fact. What could have been? What could have been? This voice and this face in Hollywood, I'm pretty sure it would not have succeeded. But I think about every now and then, what if I didn't suck at that part? And maybe I would have advanced, and who knows what would have happened.
Hey, Jeff, what advice would you give to people watching this live stream on audio? They're looking to get into the radio industry. And what's your thoughts on the current status of radio?
Run. Choose a different occupation. No, I would say radio is changed over the course of my life. So I've been doing it for a little bit of time. It's no longer mini discs and cassette tapes. Now every phone can record, and nobody really cares about audio. Everybody's got a podcast. It's all about video. It's all about digital. So my biggest advice is always the same. If you think you want to do this for a living, and it's a fun job, it really is, but you got to pay your dues. Yeah, so you got to pay
Absolutely.
your due. You got to make so many sacrifices, weekends and holidays, and you got to miss birthday parties and family events. So if you want to do it, be prepared for the schedule, but also volunteer for everything and anything. And you're probably going to have to work a ton for free or for barely any pay, but maybe it works out one day. Like I look at my daughter's parents, and I'm not sure they love what they do for a living. I love what I do for a living. Now, I'm not sure I get paid as much as they get paid, but it isn't nothing to have a job that you really like. So if you want to do this, I would say you just got to make a ton of sacrifices. You got to pay your dues. I know it's really boring advice, but you have to literally do anything and everything to try to get your foot in the door. Because the way I look at it, it starts off by them using you. They're going to use you to do whatever they need done. And more than likely, they don't care about you. They just care about it getting done. But you got to prove to them that you're different than others. And then hopefully it's you using them for a paycheck and a job that you really like. And you prove to them that you could do it. So it's a weird business. It really is. Very few people just come in and light the world on fire. Most people bounce around, have to move a tremendous amount of times, get fired, but they think they want to continue to do it. So here we are. So I know it's boring advice, and you could probably get this advice from a fortune cookie, but just do whatever it takes. I mean, you have to outwork everybody. And, talent is one thing. Having talent is fantastic, but having talent without a work ethic, I don't know that gets you very far. Having a work ethic without talent, that will get you further. Now, I think I don't have talent. I have a work ethic. So I guess I'm at where I'm at. But if I had talent and this work ethic, or if I didn't have this god awful voice, who knows what the hell I'd be doing right now. But yeah, I mean, just you have to, it's going to suck, but you got to suck it up if that's good advice or not. It worked for me.
That's the same advice Chuck Swirsky and Eric
Oh,
Smith
Chuck
of the
Swirsky.
Chuck Swirsky's been on my show, and Eric Smith from the Raptors, and I've applied some of their advice, and I love what I'm doing, and I go out and reach for opportunities, and I've been very lucky, and I've had a lot of guys on from Detroit, and I love what I'm doing, and I want to keep learning and improving, and I'm kind of self-taught, Jeff, so I'm kind of doing this the unconventional way, but I have a very strong passion for radio and a work ethic, and it's the guests that make a great show.
Oh, listen, I mean, I commend you. It's hard to do, man. It's hard to do, and there's a lot of competition out there. And I think a lot of people don't realize, like, everybody wants to do a podcast. Everybody wants to do this, and everybody thinks they can do this. And listen, I think a ton of people can do this. I remember I used to teach every now and then I'd go into like a Specs Howard class or something, or I would go into speak at a high school or a middle school. And the first thing I always taught or told everybody is whatever your favorite topic is, you tell me what it is, talk about it nonstop for a minute, and don't say the same thing again. Give me different thoughts, opinions, facts about whatever it is you're talking. You can talk about Tic Tacs for all I care. Just talk about something. And a lot of people think they can do it, and then they try that, and they weren't as sure that you can do it. But you can get better at doing radio if you have an opinion and you have a different way to do things. I'd say go for it. And the hard part is, this, doing a podcast is difficult because it's hard to get noticed and it's a lot of work and the pay ain't great. I had a podcast for 8 months. I hated every second of it. I had to do it myself, and it was Monday through Friday, and it sucked. And I despised it. And I was never happier than when I was canceled because it didn't work. But it was a bad feeling too, that I'm like, okay, well, that sucked that it didn't work. But it's difficult. It really is, man. You got to go from obscurity to like being able to get paid for it. Because after a certain point, you want a family, you want a life, you got to make some money. So it's a tough business for sure.
The sponsorship too. I have a GM sponsorship, but I'm trying to sell myself as well. And by the way, Jeff, I'm wearing a Tigers hat, but I've worn 9 or 10 different hats. I'm the producer, the content creator. I edit video. I do everything. I do digital writing, and I might not be the best at everything, Jeff, but I think in the media radio industry, it's good to know as much as you can.
Oh, no question about it. I do everything at the radio station. I mean, listen, I can host a show. I can do something on the network. I can do an update if I need to. I can run a board. I can report. I can cut up audio. I can do an interview. So that's another thing. Make yourself indispensable. Do whatever you possibly can just to stick around. And even if you're not doing what you want to do what they want you to do, and then eventually maybe you get there. So yeah, it's a tough racket. There is no question it's a tough racket, and it's not really for the faint of heart. It gets competitive, it gets a tad gossipy. I mean, you know how it is. But there's nothing else I'd rather do other than be retired and play golf every day. Now, if I could get paid to do that, I would do that. But this is a pretty good second thing.
By the way, the last time I golfed, the New York Rangers won the Stanley Cup. That was 31 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, well, August 1994.
You should try it again someday. It's a great sport. It's fabulous.
Absolutely. By the way, Happy Gilmore too wasn't as good as the first one, by the way.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
Did
but
you?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. Yeah. It's not going to win any Academy Awards, but I did enjoy watching it.
Finally, Jeff, where can my audience follow you on social media and 97.1 The Ticket in Detroit?
I'm on the X. What am I? Riger 1984, I believe. I'm on the Instagram. I don't use it very much. I think there might be a TikTok out there. I got locked out of Facebook. And I have not. They want my driver's license to get back in, so I keep thinking I'm getting scammed. So I'm not on Facebook. I mean, I am, but I can't get to my own Facebook. So just I would say the X. Riger 1984, RIGER 1984.
Jeff, I want to say thank you so much for giving us some time out of your busy schedule. Sure. And I've always been a fan of yours, and I've been really lucky, man, getting a lot of wonderful guests here over the years. And you have an open invite to come back on my show again in the future if you like as well.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It was a fun, it was a blast. I think I was supposed to come on maybe last year, and I either forgot about it or
happens.
I potentially could have ghosted you. Yes. So I'm sorry for that. And
no
thanks
worries
for having me. I had a good time.
One thing I've learned about the radio media industry, you don't take anything personally, and I just keep grinding. I keep grinding away and keep getting better, and I've been very lucky. And Jeff, it was finally nice to have you on our show, and good luck to the Red Wings, Pistons, and the Tigers. The Lions, as long as they don't play the Eagles, I wish them well as well.
Gotcha, man. Thanks for having me. It was a blast.
Thank you so much, Jeff, and have a great show tonight at 6 o'clock on 97.1 The Ticket in Detroit.
Thanks, brother. Take care.
Thanks, Jeff. You too. All right, guys. All right, everyone. That wraps up season 11, episode 30, overall 580 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, located at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph-Mall. Check out their website, barrycullen.com. As we wrap up this show, guys, the next Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, again sponsored by barrycullen.com, is going to be on Thursday, August 28th at 9 p.m. Eastern with my special guest, Laurel Sapp. She's a recording artist, songwriter out of the province of Saskatchewan. And I have a second show that day, Thursday at 7 o'clock, Episode 9 of the Argo Bounce podcast show with Nick Small and myself. Nick and I are going to break down the Argos' 52-34 win over the BC Lions. And we're going to talk about Nick, Rick, and Connor's 65-kilometer walk from BMO Field to Hamilton Stadium as well. Anyways, guys, I have another commitment, so I'm going to have to wrap this up. Thank you to everyone watching this live stream on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, and on my audio platforms such as Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Good Pods, and wherever podcasts are available. And thank you to Barry Cullen Chevrolet for sponsoring this show. And I want to thank Jeff Riger from 97.1 The Ticket in Detroit for coming on here today. Check out his show with WOJO from 6 to 8 p.m. weekdays on 97.1 The Ticket in Detroit. I hope everybody has a great afternoon, and we'll see you back here Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Thursday at 7 o'clock for the Argo Bounce podcast show with Nick Small. And then Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern with Live with CDP Sports Entertainment Talk Show with Laurel Sapp. Have a great day, everybody, and thanks for watching and listening to Live with CDP Sports Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership here in Guelph. Good afternoon, everybody.